All right, welcome back. We are here in the Cluboratory at Miles of Golf. I'm Luke. I'm joined by one of our expert club fitters, Jacob Coudray. Jacob, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Today we are looking at a brand new line of drivers from Callaway for 2024, building off a very successful Paradym model that we saw this past year. We are looking at the Paradym AI Smoke. And similar to what we saw last year with the Paradym line, we have three different head shapes and models that we'll be looking at today. The first being the Triple Diamond, the second being the Max, and the third being their Max D. The first driver that we're going to be looking at today is the Triple Diamond model, which Jacob has in his hands right now. Jacob, what is this driver meant to do and who is this driver for?
Yeah, so the Triple Diamond model that I got right here, this is commonly referred to as like the player's driver. So it is their low spin, low launching driver. It is a little bit of a smaller footprint. I believe it is 440 cc's.
Right about.
It's 440 cc's. Offering a little bit of a higher center of gravity in order to get that ball launching a little bit lower, spinning a little bit less, typically geared with somebody that has a little bit of a higher club head speed.
This is the driver you play too, right?
This is, yes.
Yep. So this is going to be the one I'm going to be curious to see you hit a little bit, just to see if it keeps up with what it did last year with your just Paradym Triple Diamond.
Absolutely.
Moving into the next model we're looking at today is the Max Head, which I have in my hand right now. Mm-hmm. A slight change from what we saw in the Paradym line. This driver last year was just referred to as Paradym. Now they're going back to a moniker that we saw back in the Rogue lineup, and I believe even Epic before that, of just the Max moniker, which is right in the middle. That is their neutral base. It's not supposed to go too far right or too far left. It's kind of right in the middle. And the third driver we're looking at is the Max D. This is their draw bias driver. It's their slice killer. It's technically their most forgiving driver that they have in this lineup. And then again, changing just like the Max driver. Last year, this was known as the Paradym X. Now they're going back to that Max D moniker. Looking at these drivers kind of on a whole of what is different than that Paradym line, besides the name and the overall aesthetics of the driver, the major change is where we see that AI technology. Now, Callaway used AI to monitor where players typically miss the most on the driver. I know we all want to hit it in the dead center every single time, but unfortunately, that's not reality when we're playing the game of golf. They noticed that obviously players miss more on the heel and the toe side. It's kind of equally spread between those two. And then to help that golfer maybe get a little bit more consistent on those miss hits, when they're missing on the heel with this AI technology, they developed a way to make that golf ball hopefully spin a little bit less, and vice versa on the toe of having that ball spin a little bit more. Jacob, why is that important for a golfer to get that result out of those misses?
Absolutely. So kind of one thing you typically see when hitting a driver, and you hit it on different spots of the face, is the spin's going to be very inconsistent, right? You start hitting it off the heel, spin tends to get a little bit high, especially for those who slice the ball, and those hit on the toe, it tends to drop. So the kind of the whole idea that Callaway is going for here is that when you miss on the heel and the toe, even with maybe some ball speed drops or not, we'll see how Callaway does there. Is it kind of maintains a bit of consistency. So you're expecting to get all of those good results that the center of the face provides, but on, further away from that center.
Yeah, that sounds like something Bryson would like a little bit.
Exactly.
And one last change that we see with these three drivers comparative to Paradym and even the models of drivers before Paradym is the removal of the jailbreak technology. Now, the whole purpose of jailbreak was to reinforce the face to get a little bit more stability and ball speeds at impact. Due to what they're doing with AI now, we had to see the removal of that tech, but fear not, they're going to be accomplishing the same thing with a new reinforced carbon chassis. Now that we've talked a little bit more about the technology behind these drivers and what they've changed from the previous year, it's time to put it to the test and see how they perform. We're going to start off with the Triple Diamond model, which we said before, that is the one Jacob plays currently. Yep. So this will be a good test to see what this AI is going to do on those misses with this comparative to what he's used to with the Paradym. Let's do it. And one quick note too, before we start testing, we are using our yellow range balls in this test. Normally we do like to use Pro V1s, Pro V1Xs, whatever our golfer is used to hitting, but we are in Michigan. Sometimes the elements aren't always in our favor to pick those range balls out from our range. So we are using, again, those yellow range balls, but fear not, TrackMan has the normalize feature. We have that turned on, so we should still see the same performance that we would with a urethane golf ball. Without further ado, let's hit some golf shots. Just a hair off the toe. So this will be a good first look too at what it's going to do spin wise. Pretty good ball speed, 157 off the toe, 148 efficiency. So we see the carbon chassis going to work in that. Just a hair under 1,500. Now that is pretty low, but tell me what you would have normally expected with your Paradym from last year.
Yeah, I mean, one issue that I typically have is I'm a pretty low spin player. So When I hit it off the toe, that turns into those low knuckleballs, those ones that go kind of left on left. So seeing that one anywhere near the hole is already kind of a good sign for me.
Perfect. I think that's about as good as it gets.
That's pretty good.
It's really, really, really good. 14 degrees of launch, 1.48 smash factor, so
efficient.
Right in the middle of the club face. 14 at 2,300, 280 in the air. It's money. It's absolutely money. It's a good miss.
Yeah, that's low in the face for sure.
It's a really good miss. It's good to see their, I guess, least stable driver still miss like that. Because normally, we've talked about it in a lot of videos past, you throw the center of gravity a little farther forward in the head. Typically, the less forgiving that driver is going to be.
Absolutely.
We didn't catch that one in the middle. You still pretty much found the dead center of the fairway.
Yeah, love it.
Can't complain with that. And also, missing in on the bottom of the face, it's still only spun at 2,200. That's perfect. That's
really good.
Normally, we're concerned about those numbers jumping up into the threes, even 4,000s.
Yeah.
Seeing that stay under 3, it's money.
Money. What did that spin at?
We will see, because that was dead off the heel, right?
Oh, way off the heel.
We almost hit it on the shaft.
Pretty much.
Let's see. 2,700.
Wow. Now, I can tell you with my driver, that's 3,500 all day.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, still a good amount of curvature, which we're going to expect. Yeah. But, I mean, 133 feet. It's not as much as we would expect maybe with Paradym of the past.
I started it left of the target, so
yeah, it's perfect.
Not the end of the world.
Then we ended on a high tomahawk.
That couldn't have been more middled, though.
Middle and like the top of the face?
Middle of the face.
Middle?
That's dead middle of the face.
And spin still stayed incredibly consistent of 2,200.
Love that.
So you hit it almost off the hosel on the shot previous, spun at 2,200. Yeah. Caught it in the dead center, spun it at 2,200. We're in a good spot there. That's 5 good swings that we wanted to see. Let's switch to the max head now.
Yeah.
Now we're switching on over to the max driver. Same exact settings, same exact shaft. We have the Fuji Tour Spec Black 7X in there. 9 degrees of loft at the -1 setting, so playing 8 degrees effective. This is the truest test we can get to see what one driver is going to do compared to the other. I'm very curious to see both spin-wise and stability-wise what this driver is going to do comparative to the Triple Diamond.
Immediately jumping out, you can tell that this head is much bigger than the others.
How does it sit? Does it sit more closed, more open? Or is it pretty neutral?
It actually sits really neutral.
Love that. I mean,
that was good.
Do you like hitting the ball dead straight?
Dead out the middle of the face.
Just wait for the numbers. 15 degrees of launch, 2,300 RPMs of spin, 17 feet of curvature. Take that every day and twice on Sunday.
I will say it is immediately feels lighter.
Feels lighter. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Little baby cut.
That was low in the face. What did that spin at?
Let's see. 15 degrees of launch, so launch didn't change based on what struck in the face, so that's perfect. Ball speed dropped down, which we would expect 2,700 RPM to spin. So even further, again, a little bit higher spinning model of the Max comparative to Triple Diamond. To not see it still jump above 3,000 even on that low face miss, it's perfect.
Love that.
It's perfect.
Here's the heel ball.
A true test to see what happens there. Ball speed still stayed at 154, so that's pretty good off the heel.
Yeah.
Launch stayed incredibly consistent at 14, and spin only jumped up to 3,000.
Still 3,000 is not bad. I know that's much higher in my old driver.
I mean, 3,000, I sometimes prefer to see players spin it at 3 as opposed to 2.
Yeah, keep that ball in the air for sure.
Yeah.
There's your high toe.
Mm-hmm. Now let's see if it kept up spin-wise. And ball speed still stayed at 159. Really good consistency there. Launch jumped up a little bit, which is pretty good to see. Spin still stayed at 2,000.
Wow.
Okay, because that's 1,500 territory for you.
Absolutely, or lower for me.
And because of that, off the toe, you still only curved it 14 feet, so you're finding the dead center of the fairway, and it still went 282 yards in the air.
Yeah, love that.
It's cheating. You're cheating.
That's just perfect.
That's money. Money, money, money. That's what they say. 16 degrees of launch, 160 miles an hour ball speed, 2,100 RPMs of spin, 280 in the air, dead center of the fairway.
Love that.
I know you said you got the triple diamond, but we might have to get you into a different driver because that one blew that out of the water for you specifically.
I think we need to do some more testing.
Yeah, I think so. And then our last contestant of the day, the Max D model, a driver that we probably wouldn't put into your hands. You sometimes do miss it a little bit far left.
Yeah, it is my big miss for sure.
So again, going into it, this might not be the driver for you, but setting it down right now.
Yeah.
How's it looking?
It definitely is bigger from a footprint. It definitely is elongated.
Okay.
I will say it's not really closed as I would have expected from this model. Maybe a degree set closed.
Okay.
But really not that bad.
See what it does.
There's
and
the
just
left.
like that, yep, immediately a little bit more left, which again, we're going to expect to see out of this. We want to.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is to get this ball moving more left.
Spin-wise, still at 2,200.
That's awesome.
We love that.
I love that.
Yep. What I like about it is it's starting a little left, but it's not curving super far to the left.
That was off the heel with that spin.
Let's see as it pops up. 157 ball speed off the heel, really good. 2,000 RPMs of spin. Wow. Again, all the same loft, so theoretically it should be pretty close, but with weight more pulled back in this, we wanted to spin a little bit more. Seeing it spin under 3,000 on a heel miss, money. That's just dead perfect.
Yeah, it is.
A little butter cut with a draw bias driver.
It's fine. It's a millimeter off the heel.
Again, ball speed dropped down a little bit, so we expect that. Let's see what spin, 2,500. Well, 24, 26.
Yeah,
money.
That's really good.
Really, really good. So you're still going to see the distance you want out of it. It's not going to overspin and balloon on you, so you're still going to get the most bang for your buck out of that.
That's the miss I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and that's why we wouldn't put you in this driver, theoretically.
Definitely wants to go left. Definitely wants to start left. I think that's kind of more of the thing I'm noticing.
Yep. Yeah, exactly what we would expect out of this driver is starting left and going a little bit more left. But what I like about it, it's not overly left. A lot of people's fears when we're fitting them into draw bias drivers is, hey, what happens if I start to minimize that slice miss that I have at the beginning? Yeah. It's like, we're not seeing it duck hook now as someone that misses it left. Right. Like you're the ultimate person we wouldn't fit this into, and it's not going 70 to 80 yards left. I mean, it's only 70, 80 feet left. Yeah. That's perfect. Now that we've hit all three driver heads, we got to dial down to 5 shots between each of them. We didn't strictly do just the best 5 out of them. We included some misses because we wanted to see what the average spin rate would do, including misses off the heel and on the toe. Starting off with the triple diamond, the lower spinning model, 13 degrees of launch, 2,200 RPMs of spin. Yeah. It's money. It's exactly where I would expect you to be with that head. 57 feet of average curvature, but plus or minus 75 feet. So it was going in both directions, which we would expect to see out of that. Going into the max head, you swung it a little bit faster at 109 compared to 108. So we saw ball speeds jump up a little bit at the same efficiency. 15 degrees of launch, 2,400 RPMs of spin. So again, we saw it keep up a little bit. What I like to see, keeping with that trend, we kept in those heel and toe misses. Your average spin rate still stayed at 2,400. Perfect. 66 feet of curvature, but it was more in a certain direction. Correct. So theoretically, this driver is a little bit more consistent for you, going a little bit straighter. Yeah.
One could argue forgiveness on that.
Yeah. And then going into the final driver of the Max D, and exactly what we would expect out of it. It's more left biased. It went straighter for you, 36 feet of average curvature and a little bit tighter, but it's too far to the left than what we would deem applicable for you on the golf course. 110 mile an hour is a club head speed, so even a little bit faster. 159 ball speed. 15 degrees of launch at 20, just a hair above 2100.
But the ball is starting more left, so I would expect it to spin less.
Yep. And something you noted when you were hitting it, the Max D starting direction was just a little bit more left.
For sure.
But it wasn't curvature.
No.
That's really good to see.
Yeah.
And then kind of throwing it back to you after hitting all three of these drivers, what are your takeaways from them?
Yeah. They all feel really good. I have to, I'll just throw that out there. No matter where I hit on the face, it doesn't give you that very, aggressive feedback that some other drivers on the market may do. It's still a responsive feedback. I was curious, being as this is the first driver without jailbreak, if it would, feel, kind of a lot springier than before, whereas Callaway is known for more of a dead kind of feel. It still maintains a lot of what the good things are in previous drivers. Kind of touching on the triple diamond, from a looks perspective, I definitely appreciate the kind of smaller profile. It definitely feels the heaviest of the bunch, kind of that weight of the end of a stick type of feel, where as going into the Max and the Max D definitely feel a little bit lighter. So some people might really, really appreciate that. Kind of differences between them in terms of performance. I like personally seeing that kind of a little bit of a lower launch with the triple diamond. Yeah. Probably kind of what I want to stick to. But seeing the Max and the Max D still launch really high without gaining spin was really good to see. For most players, that's kind of exactly what we're trying to do. Get them that higher launching, lower spin ball, so that way they can hit it further. The triple diamond really isn't designed for that average consumer. That's designed more for the players. So kind of getting those, differences between the head is important. And then getting into the ones where the big difference between the Max and the Max D is mostly that start direction, right? Yep. And when someone's missing it right, they want to get that ball started more left. Yep. So if we can get that ball started left and really not lose any other performance, I think that's a really big bonus to the consumer.
That's perfect. I know we joked after you hit the Max that I was like, oh, we found your new driver, but something you had mentioned I want to touch on is a lot of fitting someone into a driver is what they want to see out of it as well. You said it yourself, you like to see the ball launch a little bit lower, kind of get on the ground a little bit quicker. Yeah. We always have to take that in consideration. Theoretically, on paper, the Max was your best driver, but that's not what you're looking for out of a driver, which is why it's always so important to come in and see these numbers and take it all with a grain of salt, because hey, what's perfect for one person could be the exact opposite for a different person. Exactly. And again, that's why you have to come in here and get fit. Other than that, man, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other ideas for videos that you want us to do, leave that in the comments below. Other than that, see you later.